Bonjour mes amis, bienvenue à Avignon, or welcome to Avignon in France. Today is day 12, and I had a wonderful day. Really soaking in the culture today. In particular, I started out by visiting that museum that we talked about yesterday. That would be the Museum Calvet, which is the local Avignon museum. Mainly paintings and sculptures. But surprisingly, they also had an Egyptian exhibit. Because it turns out that this museum used to be a hotel, and before that, it used to be a family house. So when you're talking about French history, you can't get away from speaking about Napoleon at some point. And so apparently, this museum was opened by Napoleon. And of course, Napoleon did those Egyptian campaigns, and so spread around a whole bunch of artifacts that they found and discovered and brought back with them. And that includes the Musée Calvet. And because it was founded by Napoleon as a recovered land, like a recovered building. So it used to be a private property, now it's public property. And because of it, it's a city museum, and it was free, absolutely free. And I don't know how I keep running into these things and finding these cheap museums, but I do, and it's awesome. About to walk through the wall, by the way. Isn't that cool? Yeah, beauty. Anyway, what was interesting to me particularly was they had a whole section on Dutch masters, and Dutch and German artists, but in particular the Renaissance Dutch masters, which I did not expect in a French museum, but I guess it kind of makes sense. And a whole bunch of local artists as well. And I was really, really impressed actually when I got to the 18th century or 19th century section, where again, a lot more impressionists and some abstract. And I really liked them. They were really cool. And yeah, I feel bad because I'm not really super familiar with the artists. I wrote them down, and I'm going to check them out probably, when I get back home, because yeah, I was very impressed. It was really cool. They were very moody, and a lot of emotion in them, and that dark, but in I don't know how to describe it. I'm not an art expert, but it's kind of a dark, impressionist kind of look, and it usually involves portraits of people, and it's about that turn of the century era, and really, really great works. I was very impressed. I was very happy to have discovered that, and so yeah, I made really good use of my morning discovering this museum. And it is cool too, because I fall for this a lot myself, where we want to go see the classics. We want to go see the stuff that we know and has some notoriety already. We don't really want to go and discover new stuff. And like I said, just to emphasize, I'm really bad for that. I want to go see all the great works. It's it's a particular goal for me, and I'm working on it. But it does mean sometimes it's like, here's some new artists that you don't see, or here are some other artists that aren't as famous, and you know, unless I happen to see them by chance when I'm hunting down the more famous ones, I miss out, right? Like, it's kind of on me. I'm going to go back around because it's getting windy. One of the reasons why I haven't been able to take the drone out today or in Avignon is because the wind just hasn't stopped. And my little drone, I just have one of the little minis, it can't handle the wind like that. Anyway, hopefully this is a little better. So yeah, great museum day. I love museums. I really do. I did think of a new video. I was actually going to do it today. I might wind up doing it later, but I have this idea of doing a video on how to take photos in museums. And it's based on the idea of, you know, like if you're just taking a picture of a painting, I mean, what are you doing? Like, you're not really adding anything to it. Like, it's already painted, like there it is, right? And there's nothing wrong with that either, right? Like, oftentimes we just want to record things so that we remember them, right? Um, and but yeah, I mean, if you want to take really good photos of museums, I mean, there's ways to do that. And I enjoy taking photos in museums. Yeah, so I'll save that for another night or maybe when I get back. But needless to say, I got a lot of photos. And then of course I had to go to work. But afterwards, I had I'm just getting back from a very nice meal that I had at the Bleu Cochon, or the Cochon Bleu, or the Blue Pig. And oh boy, gotta tell you, that was a good meal. Because you come to France and you definitely want to, or I wanted to learn French food. I wanted to find out how to make it and, um, you know, learn some skills there. But I mean, you can't come to France and not, you know, take advantage of some of the French chefs that are already working. They already know the skills. So even though I should mention, I did get some more pastry. My eclairs didn't last. You know, that's becoming a bit of a problem. I'm going to be like 300 pounds by the time I leave this place. But I did go and get some more pastries. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so today's pastry, because those eclairs did not last, as they should have. Today's pastry is even more dangerous because I got a deal. I got 3 for, you know, X deal. Like I think it was like €3 if I bought 3. So of course I had to. So I bought this chocolate croissant as part of it, and then it came with these another chocolate croissant. And I think she gave me too many. It was supposed to be 3, but I'm now looking at the bag and I have 4. So this is a chocolate beignet donut and a pistachio beignet. So now I have 4 pastries. So what day is it? It's Friday. So realistically, this should, it's a weekend. So it should probably last to the end of the weekend. So Monday, I'll get new pastries maybe. Maybe. Yeah, so nice. The other thing is, I noticed that I'm using a lot of French. I'm getting back into it. I'm communicating. Like today, I spoke almost exclusively in French at the restaurant, and it's interesting how people treat you, because and I should talk about this a little bit too, but later. Um, I'm supposed to be able to speak French, so the fact that everyone is treating me like I'm doing really well speaking French um, is is a little misleading, because it's not like I haven't just been, learning French on Duolingo the last like 6 months or something, right? Like I went to school for French, I just never use it, right? But I'll tell you, like today, um, when I was getting my pastries, you could tell like I was struggling, right? I was trying to speak, and she didn't speak English, and so she had to explain everything. And but she gave me this like very reassured, like, you did a good job there, kind of a remark at the end, and she was very happy. And I started to think like that's kind of how things are going right now. Like I'm really putting the effort in, and people are appreciating it, and they're really, they're really helping you out. They meet you halfway, and more than halfway, and then give you like some encouraging thoughts afterwards, like, "Hey, you did a good job, thank you." And it's like, oh, okay, thank you, I appreciate that, but I should be doing better. Um, I should be able to know or speak a little better than they're making it out to be. Um, but I mean, this whole thing about struggling to speak, um, it's kind of a bonding thing between me and the people I have to speak to. So it's working out, you know. Um, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep trying to speak. Like I don't mean to say I'm going to be disingenuous or anything, but you know, I'm very encouraged to keep trying to speak French, which is cool. But anyway, so my dinner, okay, the blue pig, the cochon bleu. So I mentioned I'm on a bit of a unplanned theme, right? We were talking about rice dishes. For me, particularly, unexpected rice dishes, right? Paella, risotto, like French risotto, um, and then of course the olive oils. Um, the pleasant surprise about finding out about fantastic Spanish olive oils, and of course this new discovery of these Provençal um, olive oils, and I'm very, very happy because I love olive oil, and I'm very happy to discover that. And these things will continue with the rest of my journey here. But another inadvertent theme has now become snails, uh, like escargot. In particular, like I got snails in Spain. I didn't know this until like about 6 months ago, that that is quite a dish. It's quite a like a it's in various dishes in Spain. It was like the poor man's food, right? They would collect a bunch of snails, fantastic protein, and put it in paella, like the original paellas. I mentioned this before. It was like rabbit and snails. That was the meat. It's not supposed to be made with seafood at all. And they get mad about it. I don't really get it, but whatever. But yeah, the snails. And then, of course, they make all these snail dishes. And they make snails in savory sauce, like a mushroom-based kind of thing, like, um, very earthy and that. Now, of course, the French are very famous for their escargot, which they do in different ways, but around here, it's made with a butter pesto, which is basically like a bunch of herbs, a bit of nuts, and butter, and they bake it. And then they give you the fancy um, snail shell holder, and then you fish out your snail, and the sauce is so good. It's very rich, like it's very buttery, um, but you know, It's amazing. And I was like, yeah, okay, so where can I find some? So I Googled like the best escargot in Avignon, and that's how I found this Blue Pig place. That's so cool. And that's exactly what, or how I spent my evening. Now, of course, it was an appetizer. So I did your main course, which I got Côte de Boeuf, which is, it was basically a really fancy French steak frites with homemade little fries, a salad, and then this bone marrow dish, which was really, really interesting. And of course, it was finished with an apple tart with ice cream and whipped cream. Mm. Oh, it was good. All of it. So rich. And yeah, it was a fixed price. So I paid a little money for it, but I think it was completely worth it. It was really like I don't like I'd be I'd be hard pressed to go to that dinner regularly. Like it wasn't super expensive, but it was was pricey, but so worth it. Oh man, and that's it. Like I'm checking off all of these bucket list kind of have to dos um, in Avignon in France, and it's working out. It's really working out. Uh, so beautiful museums in the morning, delicious gourmet meals in the evening. How can you? How can you get any better than that? Like and then just wandering around this beautiful town. So uh, I'm back home. There's my where's my? Oh no, sorry, that one. This is my apartment. I'm back home, so I should probably let you guys go and just say, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for following along these adventures. Um, you should start planning yours. Travel is important and delicious. So take care of yourselves. Um, I will I will speak to everyone tomorrow. À demain. Au revoir, and good night, everyone.